Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the video for Crystalofatlan. My name is Ventus SG, and in this Crystalofatlan video guide, I'm going to show you my skill rotation for my 50k power Berserker. Now, if you're new here, do me a huge favor and sub to the channel with all notifications on and like the video. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. Now, I want to preface this video really quick by saying that this is just what works for me, and it's what I'm comfortable with. If you're here to learn a rotation, please use this guide as a sort of jumping off point so you can begin to develop your own style and potentially come up with something even greater than this. Alright, so this is the way that I have my skills set up on my palette. I'm just going to explain to you my rotation and why I have my rotation like this. I'm using a PS5 controller, and the palette coincides with the PS5 controller buttons with triangle on top, circle on the right, X at the bottom, and then square on the left. So the way my rotation goes, it's like this. I use Condemnation Siphon first whenever I first start a fight, and then that's L1 and triangle, and then directly after my Condemnation Siphon, I go straight into the Army Breaker, which is probably one of my, if not my strongest skill. After I hit the Army Breaker, I will go straight into the Savage Fury. That's going to be R1 and L1 and circle. And then from the Savage Fury, I go straight into the Annihilation. From Annihilation, I then go into the Sword Tornado, and then off the Sword Tornado, I go into the Earthquake. And then from Earthquake, I go into Crimson Cross, and after the Crimson Cross, I go straight into the Blades of Annihilation. Now, some people often question why I use Sword Tornado instead of Channeled Berserk Blade, and it's mostly a personal preference. However, I do have a little bit of reasoning behind my madness of why I don't use Channeled Berserk Blade, and that's simply because I feel like the skill takes too much time to execute, and I know that that sounds insane, but walk with me for a second. When fighting bosses in this game, bosses rarely stay still for any amount of time, right? And when you think about having to sit there for 2 or 3 seconds to get that full channel and to unleash it, I'm not that great at the game. I know that you are probably amazing at the game just like everybody else, and you guys have the ability to hit that skill. So by all means, use the Channel Berserk Blade if you feel like you will not miss it 90% of the time. I feel like I am going to miss it. And on the flip side, two things with the Sword Tornado. I just actually love the animation of Sword Tornado. That's one of the things that made me decide to be a Berserker as my main instead of a Magi Blade or an Elementalist when I saw that he had like a ranged skill like that. And number two is that this skill, once you launch it, it goes off by itself and it does its damage. And while it's doing its damage, I can do damage with something else. Alright, so the rotation should look something like this. Start off with Condemnation Siphon and go straight into the Army Breaker. Right after the Army Breaker, go straight into Savage Fury. After Savage Fury, you're going to go right into the regular Annihilation. After Annihilation, you're going to go right into Sword Tornado, right into Earthquake while the Sword Tornado is going into the Crimson Cross. And after Crimson Cross, it goes seamlessly into the Blades of Annihilation. Alright, so here's a look at my skills and how many points I have allocated into each of them. So the first passive is Heavy Armor with 1. We've got Charged Basic Attack with 1. Sword Oil, that's got 4. Special Quick Recovery, that has 1. Extreme Dodge has 1. We've got Sword Tornado, I got 13 points in it. Then I've got Annihilation with 13 out of 15, and that has the passive attached with its Sunder. The last hit of Annihilation inflicts delay and slow, lowering enemies' movement speed and attack speed. Next is Earthquake, it's 16 of 15. Then we've got Condemnation Siphon at 17 out of 15. And that has the passive Surge. Condemnation Siphon upgrade after pulling enemies, unleash an energy discharge from the ground. Savage Fury is at 15 out of 15. Then I've got Rage Fire 5 out of 5 and Conversion at 1. After acquiring this passive, the Berserker will convert any healing received from outside sources into a Crimson Barrier. The Crimson Barrier obtained in this way will not exceed the maximum limit. Crimson Cross is going to be 12 of 15. Army Breaker, my strongest skill, is at 17 out of 10. I choose to always use Unyielding Madness. My Hell's Destruction is at 5 out of 5. I've got Battle Thirsty. My Blade of Annihilation is 6 out of 10. And then my final Cataclysm is 3 out of 5. Alright, so if you're wondering how my Army Breaker is able to get to 17 out of 10, it's because all the gacha outfits that I have the extra insignia for Army Breaker level +1. So looking at my Sky Blue Flame Thorn, it's got the insignia Army Breaker level +1, and pretty much every outfit, even my title, just has Army Breaker level +1. The way that you get that is you go to the shop, go down to the summon, scroll over to item, and then you want to look at the more expensive ones. So it's going to be Berserker Scarlet Selection Bag. So it's going to cost 40 of these. Essence of Brocade. So it costs 40 Essence of Brocade, and you can pick whichever skill you want. There's like 5 or 6 skills that you can choose from, and I chose to go with Army Breaker in every single one of them because I didn't want to spread it out evenly among all the skills. I wanted one skill to be able to hit really, really friggin' hard. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope it was able to help you. If it was, just do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. Now, if you're on my server, Sighing Wind 1, and consider yourself active on the game and want to join my fleet, I'd love to have you. I stream this game every single day, and I'm always looking for people to run content with while I'm live that are in my fleet. If this is you, join up whenever you like on a main or an alt, whatever. The fleet ID is 8891461. Alright guys, my name is Ventus SGN. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.